to this week's Dragonblade Authors Unplugged. I'm so glad you're here with us. We've got USA Today bestselling authors Maeve, Greyson, and Mary Lancaster with us today. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Sorry.
You forgot the
Mary's
dog.
dog is also joining us this week.
Sorry. I didn't
All my cats
know
just
you
stampeded into the living room.
I am always willing to have extra participants. So if anybody wants to walk across the screen, that's fine too. Every once in a while, my dogs will start snoring during the middle of the show. So we are always happy to have extra participants. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us this week.
It's a pleasure being here.
Right. And we also had one more release. Maeve's joining us from a previous release, and this week we also had one more release with Emily Murdoch's book. It's the first in the DePetro saga. It's The Misplaced Husband, and Kate Archer has a book out this week that's The Sprinter, which is a series of worthy ladies. So we've got lots of stuff going on this week at Dragonblade. Maeve, since your book released last week, could you tell us a little bit about it? That's a brand new series for you too. Once Upon a Scot.
Once Upon a Scot. It's a 3-book series because it follows 3 brothers, and they are part of the Gallagher Warriors. And the first book, A Scot of Her Own, is about the commander, Thorburn, and he's what they're trying to do. They've been sent to the Isle of Mull to oust these Norwegians who just won't go by the peace treaty. They won't. They keep stirring trouble, trying to, because Scotland wants to rule the Isle of Mull, but Norway wants to rule. Well, Norway doesn't, but this group of rogue Norwegians wants to rule it. So they've been sent there to oust them, and he's fighting this one Norwegian. This warrior looks he's kind of small, but he's very good. And he gives, of course, we call him Thor, gives Thor a lot of trouble because Thor's just big and just, he's your alpha, brawny, wonderful warrior. And he's fighting this little slip of a warrior that's just really, it's kind of hurting his feelings that he hasn't been able to just overcome him. Well, he finally, he just throws his shield and knocks the little warrior flying. And so then he goes up on him and he's going to rip off his helm because he wants to look this guy face to face when he strikes the killing blow. Well, it turns out it's not a guy. It's Adelis, our beautiful heroine. And she starts cussing him out in Norwegian. And, do it if you're going to do it. And she spits in his face. And of course, he doesn't know what to do now because he's not going to mistreat a woman. And but he takes her prisoner, or as his spoil of war is what his brothers say. Of course, one of them says, "No, she's your pet." And
Bet that goes over well with her.
Oh yeah, but she trains him. She trains him because what he doesn't realize is she has allowed herself to be captured because she's using this to get away from her evil twin brother, who is the leader of all the Norwegians that are coming into Mull and stirring up all the trouble and causing all the problems, because he's wanting to return to the glory years where, the Vikings were pillaging and taking over and conquering, and he doesn't like this peace treaty. It's just not for him. And he's mistreated Adelis quite a bit. So she's willing to go through anything, even though she's heard terrible rumors about the Gallagher warriors and how they treat their prisoners. She said freedom is worth anything. Well, then it turns out, and she calls Thor her Scottish bear. That's her nickname for him. And it turns out she doesn't quite know how to handle him because he feeds her the same thing he eats. He makes sure her wounds are tended by the healer, and he's just really nice to her. And as much as she hates to admit it, she's kind of getting fond of this guy. And but as it goes on, of course, her brother's not going to give her up easily because he's been always trying to use her to barter off
Mhm.
to other powerful Norwegians, and he tries to kidnap her. And the story go, they've got a rather busy romp, and then of course once they get back to Scotland and she plans on escaping, well then she doesn't really want to escape anymore. But the problem is she has to face Thor's lord and liege who hates Norwegians.
Oh no.
Yeah, so then there's that to contend with. And that
There's no easy path here.
no,
Plus a whole bunch of other stuff.
exactly. Well, it can't be easy. It gets boring if it's easy.
When I saw the title when the pre came across my desk and it said Sky of Run, I'm like, yeah. Why,
More
yes,
like he's heard it. Yes,
who doesn't want that?
exactly.
No, it sounds like a fun setup for a new series.
Oh, I enjoyed writing them. I really did.
And the pre-order for book 2 went live this week, I think. Too.
Yeah,
So,
it's already up.
yeah, that one looks really interesting too.
Yeah.
So very cool.
That's Thor's brother Ross. That story is about Ross. So, and all the brothers they have some similarities, but they each have their own quirks and personalities. So
Awesome. I love series with brothers too, because then you get a chance to get attached to everybody and you can see them again, and like
exactly.
So Mary, you're in a different place with your series. You're on book 5 of the Pleasure Garden series, and it's Unmasking the Thief. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the last one in the series, in fact. So yeah, it's a couple of the main characters have actually they haven't met before, so now they meet under strange circumstances. Sorry, that's
Okay.
yes.
They're allowed.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. We have a little bit of a
Sorry,
delay. You're far from us.
Missing
can you hear me
some
now?
of what you said. Yes, mostly. I'm missing it,
all right.
but mostly I can hear you.
Well, I will stop talking and let you talk about your book.
Okay. To meet at the Pleasure Garden. The heroine, she was the governess of Viola, who was in Unmasking the Thief. And one of Viola's little sister trouble, her friend's brother's ring that they borrowed to dress at the pleasure vanished, and she wants to get it back to the friend's brother before found out. So off goes Mattie to fetch it back. And she actually meets the guy who stole it because she's got a description of him from younger people. So, but then when they meet, it's not quite what she thinks, and he's too charming, a bit too mysterious, and a bit too. He's also foreign, which she can. Yeah, and it moves on from there, and you're never quite what he's up to or who he is. He's not just a commoner guy, because that would be a bit dull. Love with just some bad. He's actually been working. He's trying to uncover a plot to bring down the government, and why not? But sorry, there goes the dog again. I hope you can hear me over him.
No, it's fine. I can, and that sounds like so much fun. And then you have a new series. You said this is the last book in this series. You have a new series that's starting just in a couple weeks, right? The Devil and the Viscount,
Yeah.
which is part of the Dragonblade Flame line, and it looks just so much fun. The cover for that one is great. The cover for Unmasking the Thief won an award recently too, didn't it?
Oh yes. It won the creme de la cover contest. test on in detail for the week.
Oh,
So it's now up for. So I'm hoping it does well there. But it's got a good chance with Dar's cover there. It's brilliant. So.
Oh yeah,
I
Dar's covers are
hope so.
fantastic.
beautiful cover.
I know, and too for the Gentleman of Pleasure series, which is the one. It's a follow-on series. It's the secondary characters from the Pleasure Garden who get their own story, but they're shorter. They're novellas, really, a little bit hotter than the Pleasure Garden series. Great.
We like
fun
short steam reading
as well. So at least they were to me. So I hope they're fun.
I'm sure they will be. The cover for that one is just it's just so good. The white shirt and
yeah.
That one needs to be wallpaper.
They're all really good.
Well, that sounds like so much fun. I'm glad that there's something that we get to go on from this series to something that's related, to it. So
yeah, it
sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, so it's back to the Pleasure Garden, though a bit more at this was getting built in one of the other series. So for an opportunity for scandalous behaviour.
Can't have scandalous behavior. That's not how we do. Yeah. Well, it sounds like very much fun. So I think, ladies, we've talked about your writing process before and author stuff. So I wondered if we could talk about something a little different this time. Maeve was telling me about her stray cats when we first came on, and I know that you've got a dog, and Maeve said she has 3 inside cats. Can you tell us a little bit about your pets since they've made themselves known this time?
You go first, Mary.
Me first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Mine is a small dog, mongrel dog, who's is a small dog with a big person. I think he wants his dinner and is creating stink, so everybody's thinking, oh, we'll feed him to
if you don't have opposable thumbs, you gotta have some help. So
he never learned.
Right.
Some lungs.
And the smaller the dog, the louder.
Yeah. He's strong, actually. He's a cross between a pug and a Jack Russell, and he's got a wee barrel, but he's got a Jack Russell nose. So, yeah, bit of both worlds, maybe. But yeah, he's got plenty of noise.
What's his name?
It's called Toby, because they call that particular
Toby.
Call it a jug from Russell and Pug, so it's like a Toby jug. So, so that's called Toby.
Oh, that's a great name.
That's cool.
So wonderful name. So just the one dog?
Yes, just the one.
He heard his name.
He has more than enough. Trust me.
And maybe you've got cats.
He's off again.
Oh yes, 3 on the inside: Amy, Spaz, and Charlie. And then 1 on the outside is the feral cat, Tom. And sometimes you call him One-Eyed Tom because he is blind in one eye. But I've been feeding him for several years. And I was just telling Evelyn that he brought home his girlfriend, and I went out to check our air conditioner because it wasn't working. And it turns out his girlfriend had 3 little kittens underneath the air conditioner. So when the repairman comes tomorrow, yes, I'm gonna tell him, look, if you're gonna fix it, you got to do it without disturbing Mama and her babies. Which my husband says, I know you've got to get the air conditioning fixed. Let them work on it. And I said, well, if I can figure out a way, we're gonna move the cats. So as soon as I get off here, I may go on a cat hunt. Try to catch them. If I can catch the babies, Mama will come to
The
them
mother
because
will
they'll be
go,
crying.
yeah.
They're just so tiny. They're so cute, and I've got the little tails that stick straight up, But I'm gonna have to get my granddaughter back over here. She was helping me. I have to get her back over here to help me corral them. She's younger than I am, so. But yes, I haven't named. Well, I have named the mama cat.
Because you run
The
fast.
the mama cat's name is Possum.
Oh,
Because she looks like one. She's kind of whitish gray, And for a long time, when she would come up to eat and then dart away, I thought it was a possum. Of course, I didn't have my glasses on at the time, so that's why I thought it was a possum. So her name is Possum. I have Possum and One-Eyed Tom outside, and Amy, Spaz, and Charlie on the inside.
I think it's better that you think a cat is a possum rather than that you think a possum is a cat.
Absolutely.
If you have to go one way, I think that's the better direction to go.
Yes. Yes.
Well, you're going to have to get the air conditioner fixed. So I know you're in Kentucky and I'm in Virginia. We had 90 degrees last week. It's 70 and lovely now, but we had those 1 or 2 days where you go, oh, we're really not going to have spring this year, are we?
Mm-hmm.
Just going to go right from this cold, wet to hot.
Oh, yeah. Well, and in Kentucky, it can be nice today and nice and cool with the windows open. And then tomorrow it could be 90 and so humid.
Yeah.
All you do is have to blink to sweat, so.
Yeah. So, Mary, what's it like where you are?
It's been a bit grey. It was quite sunny earlier, but nothing like the sort of heat you'll get over there. Let me think. But that's centigrade, so I'm not quite sure that is in Fahrenheit.
I'm not sure.
No, I could look it up, but anyway, it's nothing like as warm as you guys.
So short sleeve shirts or sweaters?
Yes. Well, yes, certainly you wouldn't go out without a jacket.
Okay.
Not too bad.
So
at least it's
maybe we could arrange like a pilgrimage to Mary's house in the summer because
yes, absolutely.
Just as likely to rain in the summer. We don't get much of a summer.
I don't mind the rain at all, but I moved from Pennsylvania to Virginia, and the heat is and part of it, I'm not willing to say the whole thing, but I think a fair bit of it is because I've gotten a bit older and I mind the heat a lot more than I used to.
I understand. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Which is why we have to get your air conditioning fixed.
I know. I'm going to move the cats. Somehow, I'm going to move the cats.
So, ladies, I know you are both incredibly prolific authors because I get your books all the time. So, can you talk a little bit about how you keep the ideas coming, how you figure out what you want to work on next? Is there a way that you refill the well, something that you do to keep your creative energy up? A way that you take care of yourself that way?
I try to read, because it helps me grow as an author too, and improve how I write. Like, oh, I like the way they write. Theirs is so much smoother than mine, and so then I learn that way.
Yeah.
So I try to, and of course I'm an Outlander fan, so I catch up on Outlander and on
Book and the TV series both.
Yes, I've got all the books, hardback. They're the hardcovers on my keeper shelf, and so I read them and just travel. When you can travel, I travel some.
Yeah.
So, because we went to Scotland and Ireland. And when we were in the Air Force, we traveled all over. So,
were both you and your partner in the Air Force?
I beg pardon?
Were both you and your partner in the Air Force?
Mm-mm. My husband was in the Air Force, and I just followed wherever he went. So we were, in fact, one of our daughters was born on Guam.
Oh,
so
wow.
We enjoyed island life for about 2 years there. And
wow.
The rest of the family didn't get to meet her until she was like 18 months old. So
Oh my goodness. Well, she wouldn't have remembered the early parts anyway. So
No, someday she wants to go back there just to see, and
Mhm.
it was a beautiful island. So
Oh, wow. So do you read historicals mostly, or do you read across genres?
you know, my favorite is science fiction.
Is it?
Seriously, I love science fiction, fantasy, and about the only genre I don't read is contemporary. And I
Mhm.
don't know. The only thing I can figure is it just doesn't. It just doesn't. You know how you get a book, you read it, and it just speaks to your heart.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything with contemporaries,
Yeah.
no matter what they're. And I think it's because maybe it's too much like real life.
I was gonna say the world building, I think, is different,
Yeah,
because
and
with science
so
fiction fantasy, there's world building, and in your books, there's a lot of world building, even the
you
time
know,
travel ones and stuff.
yeah. So because writing for me is kind of like a stress relief. I want to escape what's going on in the world right now. I want to go somewhere else. And so if I read contemporaries, I guess I don't get as much of an escape as
Yeah, that
so.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm.
What about you, Mary? How do you keep your creative juices going well filled?
But like Maeve, I read a lot as well. Among lots of different genres, I like suspense and mystery and murder stories and a lot of historicals too.
Oh, do you
Not
like
just
murder
romance.
stories?
Sorry.
You do like murder mysteries too?
Yes. Yeah. As well. Things like
Mhm.
Ellis Peters, Brother Kyle, and the one I've been reading. Grace Barrows has started one as well, which is really good about Violet Investigates. I've been as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I quite like
Any TV or movie?
something can come in from. I'm sorry.
Something can come in from. Go ahead. I'm sorry, the delay is making it
Yeah,
difficult.
it's difficult. No, from watching a TV series or anything, like just something will set something off in my mind. Need to be related to what it eventually ends up as, but just a
Mhm.
characteristic, a plot point, or even a face, and it'll start me thinking up for later, and then it'll come back to me when I'm thinking, planning ahead for another series or something. Like, oh, that would be a good character. Something.
So, do
But
either of you have trouble staying
I
on
don't seem to
track
have a
with the
shortage at
series?
the moment. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good thing for all of us.
I read it as, oh, I wasn't
Yes,
meant
definitely.
to do that. Common, isn't it?
So,
Writers, they
do
just
either
sort
of
of
you have?
the trail.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think so too. So, when you plan on a series, do you get sidetracked and want to jump to something else, or do you have to work to keep yourself disciplined to stay? I know when you plan your series, you have a certain number of books planned, and you've got characters planned, and the way you want things to go. Do you ever have to wrestle to keep things moving the way you initially set it out to go, and to force
Yeah,
yourself to stay on task?
I do. I do.
yeah,
Because especially when you get in the middle of the book of the story you're writing, and it's kind of like you're trying to keep your middle from sagging, and you're going, oh, but I could go ahead and start this book over here, or I could go ahead and start this book over here and write a few scenes here. But or you could fall down the rabbit hole of research. I love researching
mm,
books, the new series and everything, because you just one thing leads to another. So I have a planner that's got like hour increments in it, and I'm like a little kid. I have to be on a schedule, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. You do this, and I have to be that way, because if I don't, I just cheer, and then you do a bunch of little things, but then you don't accomplish anything.
And the day's gone.
Yes, and it's kind of like, what happened? So if I've I stuck onto the planner theory, and so far it's worked. Plus, I track my word count, and so I've got just enough competitiveness, like yesterday I only got this many words, so
Mhm.
today I'm going to get this many. So, and that
Yeah.
helps me.
I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. That idea of, kind of competing against yourself to try and make sure you stay where you need to be.
Because I can be my worst enemy when it comes to stuff. So,
well, you're going to have to go research Victorian piercings now, and that's going to take a certain amount of time. And
absolutely. And where did they buy this? And did they do makeup? And did they do this? And you just have to know.
Yeah. And I think that part is so important, that wanting to know things and wanting to understand things, even if it doesn't make it into the book, you as the author knowing how it all fits together, I think makes the experience of reading the book more enjoyable for us.
It makes the characters' personalities. It helps you make them into more of a rounded individual,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or hopefully it does.
Mary, do you have to set tasks for yourself, or are you able to start in the morning and just get to the end?
I like Maeve. I get over that. I give myself a big tick, but I get done as well as like every hour. I never stick to that in a million years, I don't think, because I'll keep writing, say first thing in the morning, or I can make myself get out of bed, and then it'll be I'm too late taking the dog out, so that's my schedule gone to bits anyway. Or I meet somebody while I'm out and I end up talking too long, and then when I come back, it's whoa, the whole hour's gone now. So not strict, but I do like to keep to a vague working day so that I keep it going, even when I get stuck some days and you think, I'm bored, Dory, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you just have to keep writing a wee bit until you get over it, for me anyway. Even a little bit, and then a wee bit more, and then it'll all come back. Fingers crossed so far.
I think there's always that danger when you get to the 80% part, how everything's gonna go. Because in the beginning, even if you plot significantly, there's always those little discovery points along the way. And when you get to the point where it's like, oh, I know how this finished now, there's shiny balls everywhere.
Exactly. Or squirrel. Yeah.
Not possums. Not possums.
Not possums. Not possums.
Well, ladies, it was delightful talking to you today. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We'll have Emily Murdoch on in a couple of weeks, and hopefully Kate Archer will be able to join us sometime soon as well, because it has been a busy couple of weeks here at Dragonblade. But I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to talk to us today. And I'll make sure that I put the links to the books in the comment section of the video, so that if you haven't gotten them already, you can go ahead and get them. You want to get your Dragonblade books pre-order period or release day, because that's when they're at the absolutely best deal. So yeah, you want to make sure you grab them right away so you've got them. So ladies, thanks so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And for everyone else, we'll see you back here same time next week.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.